de Aula Abierta, a quienes nos acompañan de manera presencial y, por supuesto, también a aquellas personas que nos están siguiendo por streaming. Como adjunta a Secretaría General de la Universidad de Alcalá y responsable de las políticas de igualdad, darles la bienvenida a la Universidad de Alcalá, muy especialmente a la protagonista de esta tarde, Nigar Nazar, caricaturista pakistaní, a la que a continuación la concejala de Igualdad, Patricia Sánchez, hará una breve presentación curricular y insistir en la relevancia que tiene para la Universidad de Alcalá la colaboración, la activa colaboración entre el Ayuntamiento de Alcalá, la Concejalía de Igualdad y la Unidad de Igualdad de la Universidad de Alcalá, cuya directora, Inmaculada Cebrián, que habitualmente es quien asume mi rol, en este caso en Aula Abierta, pues excusa su asistencia presencial, aunque me consta que también nos está siguiendo por streaming. Recordad simplemente también que existe la posibilidad a las personas que no están aquí, de cuando concluya la intervención de Nigar Nazar, el poder participar a través del chat de la retransmisión y, por supuesto, pues a las personas que estáis aquí presentes os invito después a sumaros al posible coloquio-debate que sin duda va a originar esta intervención de hoy. Así que, sin más, Patricia Sánchez tiene la palabra.
Pues muchas gracias, Remedios. Una vez más, no tengo otra cosa que decir que es un honor y dar todo mi agradecimiento a la Universidad por facilitarnos este maravilloso espacio. Y sobre todo también hoy quiero darle las gracias al Instituto Quevedo de las Artes y el Humor de la Fundación General de la Universidad. Este acto se enmarca dentro del Pacto de Estado contra la Violencia de Género y es un ejemplo de la importancia de la colaboración entre las diferentes instituciones. Yo creo que cuando colaboramos es cuando conseguimos un mayor avance, con lo cual si colaboramos continuamente la oportunidad de conseguir la igualdad entre hombres y mujeres será mucho mayor. Esta vez, en esta primera aula abierta del año 2023, lo hacemos con el título Hacia la igualdad con humor y queremos poner el foco en el humor, que es la herramienta que la ponente de hoy utiliza para denunciar los problemas sociales que nos afectan y que indudablemente la igualdad de oportunidades entre hombres y mujeres es uno de los más graves. Además, tenemos que tener en cuenta que cuando nos enfrentamos, digamos, a estas desigualdades en contextos geopolíticos diferentes al que nosotros vivimos ahora mismo es muchísimo más complicado. Por eso, para nosotros es un placer contar hoy con Nigar Nazar. Nigar es la primera caricaturista de su país, Pakistán, y del mundo musulmán en general, con lo cual nos podemos hacer una idea de que su trabajo no es y no ha sido nada fácil. Desde los años 70 dibuja tiras cómicas sobre variedad de temas, tanto sociales como políticos, como, por supuesto, reivindicaciones feministas. Son publicadas en numerosos diarios de Pakistán y utiliza, como bien estábamos diciendo, estas caricaturas, esta línea para poner el foco en cualquier desigualdad social. Gogi es su personaje más conocido y es una mujer joven que quiere cambiar el mundo. Es moderna, segura de sí misma, es lo que nosotras llamaríamos una mujer empoderada. A través de ella pues reivindica la igualdad de oportunidades entre hombres y mujeres y, sobre todo, para que el mundo, la vida, su país, sean un lugar de desarrollo sostenible y de justicia social plena. Os invitamos también a que visitéis una exposición que se inaugura mañana en el Instituto Quevedo del Humor, en la calle Nueva, con las caricaturas de nuestra invitada de hoy, y que creo que va a ser muy recomendable y bueno, creo que va a ser toda una experiencia el poder visitarlo. Se va a mantener abierta hasta el 5 de marzo en la Fábrica del Humor, con lo cual os invito a todos los presentes, a todas las presentes, a que os acerquéis, y a todos los que nos estén siguiendo por streaming en estos momentos. Sin más, os dejo ahora con Nigar. Nigar, thank you very much for enjoy us today, and the word is yours. Okay.
Thank you.
No, one of this. I don't
this
know
one.
if- maybe it's,
Okay. I would like to thank Professor Kasia, Juan Kasia, for giving me the opportunity of this beautiful office, the Rector's Conference Room. It's a great honor for me, it's a great privilege for me, and it's a total pleasure to be here with you to talk about my work with the angle of gender equity and how I see it as a cartoonist. In all societies, we have this thing about asserting and reminding that women's rights are human rights. So, although we may at one stage have women in just about every imaginable field now, with their education and their economic empowerment, it brings about a big difference towards making their point in society. I have done that through the sensibilities of using Gogi, my cartoon character, the young woman who is educated, confident, modern, and wants to change the world. So she's my voice, and she is the one who voices what I think and I feel. Gogi Studio has been contacted in the past to tackle difficult issues that other creative organizations were unable to handle. Some examples of these tough acts are earthquake, trauma counseling, biodiversity, tolerance for different religious beliefs, peace through numerous outreach programs, through a kit filled with engaging mediums that have made it easier to provide a highly personalized experience. Gogi Studios pushing the envelope is what sets it apart from most other creative agencies, and we strive to set the standard that others aspire to. Now, I will express my comments with cartoons. Of course, all these cartoons are not on display in the gallery because I chose to balance it with other work. But today, the focus and the beam is on gender. So I have put across sarcasm, I have put across wit, and I've thrown in jokes. I hope you will enjoy them. So let me first come to no, it's not happening.
you need to dip down, I think.
Yeah, I did. Okay.
The
Okay,
video?
I should do it with this. Is that okay?
At first, yeah, with the video.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So let me. Shall I start it? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I'm going to show you a little video, which puts my whole career and how it developed in a capsule. And this was made also by the United Nations Women Department. And so I will just show you that. मेरे कार्टून्स का मरकजी किरदार एक लड़की है जो कि पढ़ी लिखी तालीम याफ्ता जज्बा रखने वाली जो अपने मुल्क के लिए कुछ करना है और उसका नाम है गोगी। अगर आप एक काम दिखा रहे हैं 1 2 3 5 तो उधर से कहाँ बुलंद होता है, तो एक कार्टूनिस्ट के लिए तो म्यूजिक टू माई ईयर्स वाली बात है ना। आप अगर किसी को एंटरटेन करें, हंसाएं कार्टून के जरिए, तो फिर उसके बाद आप एक मैसेज स्ट्रिप इन कर दें, उसका बहुत असर है। हमेशा ये ख्वाहिश होती थी कि हमारी अपनी भी कोई कॉमिक स्ट्रिप्स हो, कोई अपनी भी कॉमिक बुक्स हो, जो ना मैं खुद ही बनाऊं। यही था कि गोगी के जरिए मैं ख़वातीन या बच्चियों का एक पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू प्रोजेक्ट करूं। जिस ज़माने में बहुत तालिबान का जोर था, इसलिए भी बनाया, सब कहते थे वो तुम्हारा टीमा बना देंगे, ऐसे चलिए देखी जाएगी क्या होता है। लेकिन ये जिंदा कहानियाँ थी, ये सारी हमारे अतराफ हो रही थी। कोशिश करते रहते हैं क्रिएटिव लोग कि थोड़ा सा फर्क डाल दें, थोड़ा सा डेंट डाल दें अपने काम से। और मुझे तो बहुत खुशी है कि मेरे काम से बिहेवियर चेंज आया है, जिसकी मुझे टेस्टिमोनियल मिली। वो जब तायरा ने पढ़ी तो अंदर से तायरा के अंदर कोई ऐसा जज्बा जो है ना उभरा कि उसने अपने माँ बाप को दाएं बाएं बिठाए और कहा ये सुनी कहानी। तो फिर तायरा के वालिद ने कहा कि ठीक है, कल से तुम भी स्कूल जाओगे। आप सोचें तायरा की जिंदगी में जो तब्दीली आई एक किताब पढ़ने से। किताबों से इम्पैक्ट पड़ सकता है, कार्टून से इम्पैक्ट पड़ सकता है।
And now, the pictures, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so this is my first cartoon about a housewife. We all have gone through this stage when the children, to look after a house, to look after a home, to look after the kitchen, to look after the children, and to do everything perfectly. Everything has to be very perfect when we are housewives, or when I was especially in the diplomatic service, and I just wanted everything so perfect. If you are going to aim at so much perfection, now this is a cartoon in which the little girl, as you can see here, this little girl is bringing in the phone and she's bringing it to her mother. And you see the child is crying and the bottle of milk is falling and the shirt is burning and the tea is boiling over and the water is, and the children here who are playing are tearing the bill and pulling the tails of the cat, and what a chaos. And she's saying, the little girl is saying, it's daddy. The phone has come from daddy. He wants to speak to the queen of the house. So that's the queen for you. And now this is my story, the balancing act. So people ask me, how did you do your career in laughter and humor when there aren't very many women in this field? And I call it the balancing act because you have to be cleaning, you have to be looking after the work that you have on your laptop, oops, and you have to be cooking, and you have to have the children, and you have to do the groceries, and you've got a little pet, a kitten. And so this, to me, is the balancing act that we women go through. Okay, so this is another. Now, we have to think about the rural side of the country, the village. In the village, the women do all kinds of work, tough work and the home. So tough work means going in the field and cutting the crop, and at home they have to be bringing water from the well to their home. Not all villages have running tap water. So in this image you can see that in this image you can see that the women are bringing water on their heads in the pitchers, and Gogi instead is carrying books on her head. So you can tell by their expression who is happier. Okay. Now, here's another one. This one is about a working woman. And I'm sure most of you here may be working women. When you get education and you are doing well in your studies, obviously you get degrees and you get good jobs, so you work because you enjoy it as well. So here, Gogi's coming with her friend from the office, and she's saying, when I return home from work, I'm so tired. Then I have to clean, tidy up, cook, and wash the kids one by one. So she says, she asked her friend, what about your husband? And he says, oh, he washes himself. Got it? Okay, now this is a village scene again. We have to keep in view that 70% of our population lives in the villages. And they have land, and they have they grow crops on the land. They make a living out of farming. So here are the women, and they are cutting the crops. And a bunch of women from the city have come in on the International Women's Day, and they are so proud. Oh, we have got rights, and women have got this right and that right. So they are celebrating. And the woman sitting down who's cutting, and the one who's standing here, there. So she's saying, oh my God, I wonder what all the fuss is about. So they have no idea what rights, what are you talking about, right there, no idea, but they are celebrating like anything. And the women in the village are carrying on with cutting the crop. And so they are just asking what is all the fuss about. Okay. Now this is not just in our society, not in just the Eastern society or the third world or the developing countries. This mindset of women having a certain mindset is reflected in the poem that I picked up as a child when I was in America. So when you were in the primary school, you were doing poems. And this is a very famous poem. You might have it in your culture as well. But it's Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown. And in the original poem, it says, and Jill came tumbling after. Oh, come on. The Jill of this new millennium, 2023, is Gogi. And she says, why should I come tumbling after? Something to think about. But in the poem, that was the mindset. You see, it was there even before it reached us. That Jill just follows suit and comes tumbling after. Okay, this is one of my favorite cartoons, and I made it on the Women's Day. It's about the birth of a female child. Because the birth of a female child is not always celebrated. There are many communities who get very depressed and sad when a girl is born as a baby girl. And in the dark ages, baby girls were rejected. And of course it makes me very angry. Why girls cannot be treated, or why we cannot be happy with the birth of a girl child. So here Gogi and her friend are buying corn from the vendor. And she is saying, her friend is saying, Nadia, you know Gogi, when my grandfather was born, they passed around cigars. And in the second panel, when my father was born, they passed around cakes. So Gogi turns around and she says to her, what about when you were born, Nadia? So she says, they passed out. Get it? Good. Okay, now times have changed. Times have changed, and the new thought is of getting education. At least in the cities, it's considered very important that the girls acquire education. My husband came from a village, and in his village, I know for myself that his cousins and their children have moved in to Islamabad or Rawalpindi, the city, so that the girls can acquire education. And that is the biggest empowerment you can give to your daughters. If you give them education, you are empowering them. If you give them education, they end up getting jobs, and they are complementing the income of their husbands, especially in these times when everything is so expensive. It's inflation. We are going through a crisis, an economic crisis. So as you can see in this, image that I drew actually many years ago, at least 10 years ago. Now this is the woman at home who is, she's blowing the pipe to get the fire going so that she can cook. And here she's going out to cut the crop. This is the rural setting, but here she has got education, and she's going with a degree in her hand. And over here, she did a professional degree in nursing, so she is going up. And Gogi is a lawyer. So you can see that things have changed, and people are now aware of the fact that education can empower girls. Excuse me. So this is an image I did for a folder on Women's Day many years ago. And of course, it's very true now. Okay, so here, now they're both sides of the coin. There are women who are empowered, very assertive, very confident, doing all kinds of challenging jobs and duties and running the home. But there are women who suffer in their personal life if they are having some family problems. So this woman is standing and looking at all the signs that are saying no, 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 no equal opportunities, freedom of choice, no way, easy access to education in urban areas, no, domestic work acknowledgement or appreciated, no, no, no. So this whole poll just says no. But now women are understanding. I have my maid whose girls go to school, and she's very proud of it. She has a dream that her girls can get education and be empowered. So that's the one. And now, I'll tell you this story. This is a story about this girl called Tahira. Now, my studio produces books, and I have produced up to now 30 books. I think we didn't bring the books, Numair, huh? So 30 books have been produced by my studio, and these books there were 7 books on awareness. I call them the awareness comic books. And the books are very easy to read because they've got colorful pictures and they're very easy to read. So in Ramadan, when we do the fasting, I decided that we will send out my Gogi books for charity. And we identified 7 villages, and we sent out a whole truckload of books for the students in those schools. Those schools, every child, boy or girl, received the Gogi books, a set of 7 books. Now, this set of 7 books was taken up by boys and girls. Now, the story of Tahira, this girl over here, is that she was very fond of learning. She loved to go to school. She was a class topper. She would get very... But due to reasons of her family, sometimes it could be that they cannot afford more education for the girls, or they can't, the mother needs to be looked after, or the house has to be looked after. So this girl was stopped from going to school. Her brother continued to go to school, and when he went to school one day, he got this stack of 7 Gogi books. So he came home and just put them aside, not very interested to read, but this girl, Tahira, saw these books and she opened them up and she took out one book after the other, until she came to this book which she is holding, Girls' Education. It was a story of a girl who could not go to school, but she still managed to study. And when she read this book, something inside Tahira just motivated her. So she called her parents. She had them sit on each side. They were not literate, but when she turned the books, they could see the story. And she was reading the book, the story of that, of this book. It's called Fruits of Learning, that you get rewarded for your learning. So when the story finished, you know what her father said? He said, Tahira, from tomorrow, you will go to school. Amazing, isn't it? So she wrote a letter to me, this one. And she said, Madam, I pray for your parents and I pray for you. Your book has changed my life. And we were kind of shocked. And we were so pleasantly surprised. She sent a picture of her father, and she sent an ID card copy of her mother. And she said that your book has changed my life. And I said, oh my God, such an impact of changing the life of a village girl who went back to school. So I decided that I would not be drawing for the newspapers. I will do books so that I can change mindsets. I can change the lives of people. I can make a difference. So now we have sent our books, the set of 7 books. You will see them when you come to the gallery. Those books will be there. But those books have gone to several schools. Up to now, we have sent 95,000 children have been impacted with those books. 95,000 children is a lot. And there are my books on a rickshaw library, mobile library, and in the desert area in Balochistan, those books are on a camel. They are on a camel library. And I think, Professor, the view of the camel library is going to be shown at the gallery, I think. We did send it from the desert, and the kids are running towards the camel to get their books. So the books have reached so far, all the Pakistan to the very north of Pakistan. So these books have been going out and about all this time. This is my latest book, which was launched and I will show you Gogi dancing and launching this book.
Guest of honor, and these are children from the conservatory, Heritage Conservatory School, and I'd like to introduce them, and I'd like to ask our Honorable Minister to also come and have a picture with them. So let me first introduce Ibrahim, Xavier, Aisha, Noshmia, Nourish, Essal, Arshan, Nosheen, Aliyah. You can raise your hand when I call your name out. Nosheen hai, Aliyah hai, Hassan hai, Zayed hai, Abdullah hai, Ali hai, Manha hai, Amelia hai, Bilal, Sarah, Leena. So, all of them are very talented dancers from PNCA. I'm
So this was my latest book, which is The Shape of a Tree, which was launched. And we had Gogi enact the song, which we had written ourselves. And the song says that there are many, many problems in our society. There are many bad things, but there are some good things. And if each one of us decide to do a good thing of growing a tree for climate change, then think of all the trees that can come up. We can have trees and trees all over the country. So this is the song, and this is what it means. And your ambassador, the Spanish ambassador, Manuel, who came back and went on another posting, he came to the event. So he came on the stage and he appreciated the children and he appreciated the song and the book launch, and it was really good fun. So this I wanted to share with you, and you will get to see this book at the gallery when you are visiting. So here we have Gogi, who is celebrating. And we have Gogi, who is the representative of educated, empowered women. And of course, like I said, we have problems. Like any society, we have problems. But it's how we handle it, how we see it. And as a cartoonist, I always try to show the funny side, the pleasant side, the positive side. Gracias. So, any questions?
Sí, os animamos a participar, ¿no? Aquí en las quienes estáis aquí de manera presencial y, por supuesto, también a quienes nos están siguiendo de manera virtual. ¿No? Mientras se piensa o no, si no. Sí.
First of all, thanks for coming. My question, I think that it was mentioned in the first video you played on the screen. Have you received any kind of threat from, extremists putting your life in danger? I want to know. Gracias por venir. Creo que se ha mencionado. Okay, sorry.
So have I received any threat or problem by putting my life in danger? Luckily, no. Because I was very cautious of not putting my name on those books, and neither was Gogi on those books. They were hard-hitting because they were real stories, and especially the Taliban were a pain. They were a pain for us. They still are a pain for us. Because they strike at any time and anywhere, and they cause havoc. So now with the change in the situation, they are still lessened, and thankfully there was no reaction on that, because what I showed in that story was actually what was happening. They were recruiting children, giving them false promises, and telling them, oh, this is the key that you will bring to heaven, all kinds of wrong things. So when I was writing the story, it wasn't difficult to do it because it was all happening around us. But my siblings and my relatives were very scared for me, because they said, you're hitting them directly and they could get back to you, but they could find me, I think.
¿Hay alguna otra intervención? Sí.
¿Paso a esta?
Hola, buenas tardes. A ver, ¿por qué orden? Agradecer al Ayuntamiento de esta joya, porque me ha parecido muy, muy interesante, sobre todo viniendo del país donde viene. Es una beautiful woman. Sorry, I don't understand. I don't speak English. Sorry, very sorry. Una de las viñetas de los dibujos, donde hay jóvenes empoderando con la pancarta sobre el día 8 de la mujer, y hay varias mujeres mayores que están como recopilando el arroz, me ha parecido que era arroz, está fechada en el 1998, si no me equivoco, porque me he quedado con la fecha. Entonces, desde el 98 hasta nuestros días, en las zonas rurales ha visto avances, sobre todo en las zonas rurales, donde las niñas pueden leer los libros, ver los dibujos. Eso es una pregunta. Y la otra, creo que la he olvidado. Sorry, very sorry. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm pleased to be here. So what was the question? Can you help me? city women group is celebrating the International Women's Day. If there has been a change, yes, there has been a change. Because you see, the government for all kinds of women has come somewhat under control, not completely. I can't claim that it is completely 100% hunky-dory. No, it is not. But there is a certain control because of the legislation, A. B, because you see, now education for women is so popular and common, and when they see the women progressing after education, they are encouraged to get jobs, supplement the income, and also they see around them. There are women in the judiciary, there are women in diplomatic corps, there are women in medicine and nursing and air pilots and jet pilots and police, just about any field, even cartooning. I'm the cartoonist. But the women, and the proof of it is, women are by nature very resilient, and they work very hard, I notice. And they, for example, in Barcelona, the whole Consulate General is being run by women. In Madrid, women are mostly women in number, and they're doing a great job. So education has brought a lot of difference. And now, with inflation, women are forced to work. And when they work, they become empowered. And when they are empowered, there are women who are making twice as much in their job, in their work, in their careers. So yes, there has been a difference, thankfully. Thank you. Thank you.
Bueno, no sé si, bueno, unirme al agradecimiento por tenerla. Hay un tema que no sé si me voy un poco de lo que estamos hablando, que es los matrimonios forzados siguen existiendo, sobre todo en zonas rurales, y si existen, usted en su viñeta no lo ha plasmado, no tiene ninguna viñeta, ningún libro sobre eso, porque me interesa mucho el tema porque sé que sigue sucediendo lo de los matrimonios forzados en niñas pequeñas. No, ¿dónde están? Repeat. Ok, ahora sí. Sí. ¿Ahora sí? ¿Ya? ¿Qué hago? ¿La pregunto ya? Vale. Vale. ¿La hago ya la pregunta? Bueno, pues que si me desvío un poco de lo que estamos hablando y me interesa mucho, y es los matrimonios forzados en zonas rurales. Y que no sé si usted en alguno de sus libros o en sus viñetas no lo ha plasmado, porque creo que hay un alto índice de matrimonios forzados, sobre todo en zonas rurales con las niñas pequeñas. Y creo que también no sé si yo estoy mal informada, pero sigue habiendo un gran alto de analfabetismo en zonas rurales. Pero sobre todo el tema de los matrimonios forzados me interesa mucho.
Okay. Right. Well, I have done a cartoon on forced marriages, which was for especially focusing in the rural areas, and it was all drawn in cartoon. And I showed it to some of the maids who come to work in my building. And they thought it was great that there is now a legislation that there will be a punishment for any parents who are marrying their girls below the age of 18. They cannot. If they are reported, they are punished and they can be jailed. So another thing that I can also add to this is that I had my helper coming to work for me. And she told me that this is not fair. My husband is getting married and he's already married to me, but he's getting married a second time. And I said, okay, give me his phone number. And I found out the law which can punish the man if he has not taken permission and clearance from his first wife. He can go. So I called him and I said, did you know that if you get married, you're going to go to jail? Because your wife works for me and she told me that you are getting married, you are preparing for marriage. And he said, no. And I said, no. If we learn about it, we're going to be sending the police to you. And you know, he did not marry. And she was so grateful to me. She said to me, you said he better learn his lesson. Of course, she wants to divorce him. But the thing is, the law, people are very afraid of the law because they can get. Yeah? So this is the answer to your question.
Grace.
Hola Nígar. Respecto a la violencia de género, ¿qué legislación hay en vuestro país? ¿Hay legislación alrededor de la violencia de género? ¿Hay protección a las mujeres que la padecen?
Yes, the legislation has come across, and it's called 16 Days of Violence Against Women, which has been set by the United Nations. And we, the educated women in the cities, this legislation in our speeches, in our conferences, in the news media, in the electronic media, and by marches. So we have a very famous march, it's called Aurat March, Women's March. So we, on our side, are trying our best that we let all the women know about this legislation so they don't have to worry that there will be nobody reporting or nobody giving them the support. So we try our very best that this is known among all the women. So when we have this march, it happens on the 8th of March. All women from all levels of society join, and so it is propagated. It is propagated, and there are sometimes very funny news coverage in which the women join together and beat up the man if he's being unfair and if he's being mean or unfair. Sometimes we see it on television and it's very amusing. So that's the answer to your question. We are trying our best, the educated women, and I think it is our responsibility that we should not let unrealistic favored attitudes be pushed in our society which are inhuman, because we believe that women's rights are human rights.
¿Hay alguna intervención más? No sé si a través del chat hay alguna pregunta.
Es muy complicado porque si no oímos, no entendemos lo que dice. Yo en mi caso se han dejado de funcionar y
Mariquita Pérez.
no entiendo lo que dice.
Ya.
Vamos, que no me entero de nada.
Pues está él intentando resolver los problemas técnicos.
Es muy complicado.
Sí que ha habido una pregunta, ¿no?
Nasa, ¿en algún momento, Nazar, en algún momento te has sentido amenazada? Ay, I'm sorry.
So when you put humor into your work and people enjoy it and laugh at it, then the message is more impactful. Instead of reacting angrily, they laugh it off.
Perdón, se me olvidó antes hacerle otra pregunta. ¿Se le ha ocurrido lo que está haciendo usted en Pakistán, sacarlo fuera de Pakistán y llevarlo a otros países árabes?
Not yet, but my work has been translated in other languages such as Pashto and English. But I didn't get the opportunity, I guess, to take my books to Arabic countries. They do have a, depending on what you are asking, if you are asking about the women's status and the women's position of them being weak, meek and submissive, then I don't know if that happens in Arabic countries. I'm not sure. I have lived in an Arabic-speaking country, but I did not find that the women were weak, meek and submissive.
O por ejemplo, en la India. La India tiene un problema enorme, ¿no?, con las mujeres. Entonces, llevar su proyecto a la India, yo creo que sería... Yo sé que hay problemas políticos y demás, ¿no?, pero llevar su proyecto a la India, yo creo que sería un boom para ellas, sobre todo.
Participate in one competition on environment. It was sent to me by my Indian cartoonist colleague, and it got a prize. My cartoon got a prize. But these kind of books, I think when we are better friends, then I'll just send it to them, if it helps. Because yes, the problems there are quite similar in that way of speaking. But then again, I have not been to India, so I don't know the exact situation. It's only what I may read through. But they do react. The educated class in India does react when there is an unfair and unjust dealing with women's rights. I believe they do. I see pictures or I read about it in the newspapers, that there is a reaction that comes from the educated class. And I think that's what we should be feeling responsible about. If we are better off than them, we are educated, we are empowered, we are confident, and we have to support them, and we have to help them. I believe in that.
Sorry.
Disculpad, lo que estaba diciendo antes, lo estábamos comentando Patricia y yo, que sería la última intervención.
Sorry, it seems that the same people are asking questions. The last. I saw your pictures, your cartoons, and remember the balancing act that the woman was holding the children, the computer, but there was no husband. And I'm wondering, why is there no husband? Because, I don't know, maybe the situation of these women here is different from mine, but I have the pressure also of my husband, the pressure of my children, the pressure of my work, the pressure of the society, and the husband, because the husband also is demanding attention, you know, and, well, sex, you know. So I'm wondering, why is not the husband on the picture? The women are so angry and mad at them that they don't want the man on the balancing act, or I don't know. Thank you.
Well, women often say, I hear this as a joke, as I have 3 children and 1 more, meaning I have 4, I have to look after him like a baby. But when you come to the exhibition in the IQH, you will see there are cartoons in which the husbands are also portrayed. There are at least 4 or 5 more. And they are in the catalog as well that Professor Garcia has produced.
Bien, pues por parte de la universidad, simplemente reiterar el agradecimiento a nuestra invitada, a Ligan Nazar. Muchísimas gracias por haber podido participar en esta sesión de aula abierta. Muchísimas gracias. Y sobre todo reiterar la invitación a todas las personas a visitar esa exposición, ¿no? que organiza muy acertadamente el Instituto Quevedo de las Artes del Humor de la Fundación General de la Universidad, que se inaugura mañana a la 1 y permanecerá abierta hasta el 5 de marzo. Muchísimas gracias.
The wonderful support that I got from the Embassy of Pakistan, and the ambassador personally encouraged me for participating, and of course IQH and Professor Juan Garcia. It was last summer, if you remember, in June, that I started sending my cartoons, and trust me, my studio went upside down, because it was the work of 45 years that I was digging out, and all I was doing was digging out cartoons and sending them to Madrid. And they were very, very old cartoons. I was almost embarrassed, and I told Professor, these are so old, and they're tacky, and they're stained, and they're burnt. And he said, that's what we want. So that's what you will see. You will see that tomorrow in the inauguration. And yes, you will see lots of husbands being portrayed in it too. So you can